Welcome to the Zach on Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Hughes. Today's episode is entitled Ship to Production as Soon as You Can. Production. I love production. Production is where I want to be. That's where the magic happens. That's where value is generated. I'm highly driven to get to production. I'm going to explain this concept in the context of digital technology, but let me make a few non-technical analogies first. Vacation. You decide to take a vacation in Costa Rica. You book your resort and air travel. You pack your bags. You drive to the airport, park, go through security, wait at the gate, board the plane, and fly. You arrive, go through customs, taxi to the resort, check in, unpack, then relax and enjoy. Every single step in that process is a means to an end. Most people don't stop and smell the roses in the TSA security line. You just have to get through it. We try to make it as painless and quick as possible. Sure, you could drive all the way to Costa Rica, but that would seem ridiculous to most. Education. After high school, I went to college. I loved college. It was a lot of fun. But after a year, I couldn't imagine spending another 3 years doing the same thing, waiting for real life to start. I wanted to get my career and adult life going as soon as possible. After one more semester, I started my career during the day and finished my education at night. That gave me the added benefit of taking what I learned every night and applying it the next day on the job. That was cool. Technology. I work with a lot of technology teams in various stages of product development. I'm most heavily involved in the early stage. I help with the initial strategy, business alignment, business case, and initial funding for a product team. Then I set them loose. I wait patiently for the product teams to form, get their rhythm down, design, develop, and test their products. Then I eagerly wait as they deploy their first MVPs. MVP stands for Minimum Viable Product. How long does that take? In some cases, months. In other cases, years. In all cases, longer than I wish it did. I call this stage pre-value. It's pre-value because we are spending money and working hard but not generating any value. We're building a product but no one is using it. This is the most uncomfortable part of the process for me. I feel like I'm standing in the TSA security line. I understand why it is necessary, but I just want to get through it. What happens next? Once we get the MVP to production, the fun really starts. We get to learn. We see which experiments worked and which ones didn't. We get to fix the problems that we didn't know existed before launch. We get to act on the feedback of real, live, actual production users. In most cases, teams that are in this mode can act relatively fast. They can go from idea to production in a matter of days or weeks instead of months or years. This is a little bit like my educational journey. I learned the minimum amount I needed to start my career. Then I continued learning while I worked in my profession. By the time my peers finished their 4-year degrees, I already had 2.5 years of professional experience under my belt. All along the way, I tested the theories I learned and saw what worked and what didn't. The leadership lesson. I'm in the business of finding ways to make MVPs smaller and pre-value phases shorter. I don't expect my teams to get their pre-value product perfect before launch. It should be high quality, but it won't be perfect. If you think your product is too big and important to take this approach, consider Elon Musk's approach with Twitter. He has a team of thousands of engineers and a product worth $44 billion. It's a quote from Elon Musk. Please note that Twitter will do lots of dumb things in the coming months. We will keep what works and change what doesn't. End of quote. Elon has a way of words and has certainly been turning heads with his approach at Twitter. Also, consider this statement from Aaron Levy, CEO of Box.com, a sizable Silicon Valley tech company. Quote, "Clock speed is one of the biggest factors you can optimize as a company. The speed at which you ship, get feedback, iterate, and ship again is your most sustainable competitive advantage. End of quote. That's all for this week's episode of the Zach on Leadership Podcast. Thanks for listening.